Good morning ครับ everyone. How are you this morning?
Good ค่ะ
Okay, that's good. Nice to know that นะครับ Okay, so today we are going to continue talking about our function in Microsoft Excel นะครับ On last class we talked about one example that I talk about the um, go seek function นะครับ for anyone whose data นะครับ or whose worksheet is not updated นะครับ I upload my use file the my first book นะครับ as of the Monday นะครับ you can just like go to download and use it from MUIC e-learning นะครับ okay so today let's continue talking about the example นะครับ good morning นะครับ for anyone who reply in the chat box นะครับ okay so let's continue นะครับ talking about like the function นะครับ the feature I call it as feature in Microsoft Excel that we have นะครับ on last class we talk about the this example นะครับ if you remember นะครับ okay let me just like continue talking about this feature in Microsoft Excel that we use go seek นะครับ and I stop just like talking about this one นะครับ for finding out the advertising cost in here นะครับ okay on last class I talk about this example นะครับ and I just like said that okay we would like to find the advertising cost amount we would like to find the advertising cost amount and we just know that the advertising cost amount must be 15% of the profit นะครับ in here assume that the cost of goods sold นะครับ equals to 20% of sales amount and advertising cost equals to 15% of gross profit นะครับ you can see that in here assume that we have the sales amount for $5,000 นะครับ and we say that okay the cost of goods sold is 20% of sales amount in this one we just calculate directly it's from sales amount that is in my on my screen is E13 multiplied by 20% นะครับ in this case it is $1,000 and for the profit that is the revenue subtracted by cost you have to just like subtract the sales amount by advertising amount by cost of goods sold นะครับ you can see that in this case นะครับ we haven't known the advertising amount yet and we say that okay the advertising amount must be 15% of the profit some of you might think that oh in order to find out the profit we just like simply ครับ we just simply find by just like using the profit multiplied by 15%. If we do like this directly, it will cause a problem that we call it as the circular reference นะครับ The circular reference means that you are referring to the cell that needs to use this cell as a part of its calculation. So it's just like circulate, it's like referring to each other, something like this. That cause the problem of what we call circular reference นะครับ Bear in mind that never leave the circular reference to happen in your calculation. Some of the people may just like cancel this error and doesn't care about the things. It's wrong. The reason is because in here you can see that okay firstly okay Excel is trying its best in order to remind you that this one caused the error by having the blue arrows like this นะครับ so in this one you can see that for the blue arrow here นะครับ if you have two directional arrows in blue color here between two cells it is the meaning is that these two cells are referring to each other that cause a circular reference and it causes the error นะครับ for the calculation in here because you can see that in here when the profit is $4,000 but advertising amount that we expected to be 15% of this profit it is not 15% of 4,000, you can see that 0 is not the 15% of 4,000, so it's wrong for sure. So that means in order to find out the advertising amount in here, instead of doing the calculation like that one, you have to just like set up some cells in order to reflect to see the percentage of that advertising amount นะครับ so in here นะครับ in here we just like put the value นะครับ that is that when you have to know that okay how many percents is that for the advertising amount to the profit นะครับ so in here in order to calculate the percentage of the advertising นะครับ cost you have to divide the advertising amount by the profit like this นะครับ and after that okay if we don't know anything about the goal seek at all you may just like guess for some number for example if we say that we put like 100 so in this one the calculation is showing that okay advertising amount is 2.56%. It is not going up, it is not matched with 15% yet, then you may have to guess more and more and more until you have the value that is 15%. For example, if I put 700 something it's too much 500 something yeah. Suppose we say that okay we have like 13 yeah 5 hang on 520 525 yeah 521 something like this okay roughly okay assume that okay we guess and we found that hey it's 15% already because in here when you calculate 521.7 hang on $521.70 it's 15% off 3,478.30 in here you can see that finally you can stop นะครับ in this one you can see that the profit actually it is $3,478.30 and while we are having the advertising amount that is $521.70 that is 15% of the profit. So in this one you may stop, but the point that I just want you to see is that if you have to always just like guess the numbers like this it wastes a lot of time. So that's why I stop my lecture at this point on Monday and I ask you to just like find out if you would like to use นะครับ if you would like to use the how to say the goal seek feature in Microsoft Excel นะครับ in order to find out the advertising amount นะครับ to reach 15% นะครับ so that means I would like you to use Excel to help you to guess นะครับ or to try to find out the advertising amount automatically instead of like manually guessing for the numbers until you get 15% like this นะครับ okay so and I also told you that okay if you told me sorry if you can just like show the class that okay how do we gonna get 15% นะครับ for the advertising นะครับ amount and what is the advertising amount by using GoSeek you can get the extra point นะครับ okay so anyone who want to volunteer do we have anyone who would like to volunteer for this
I want to volunteer ครับ
Pumsit right you wanna show us for this one right okay so could you share your screen to us and explain how can you get like that number by using GoSeek ครับ
Sure ครับ Okay first I'm using the GoSeek by set the percentage sale to the 0.15 and by changing the advertising amount sales.
Mhm.
So we can change the percentage to 15 and then get the advertising amount.
Okay. So you get 521.41, right? Okay. But one thing that you have to be careful นะครับ for the answer in guessing like this นะครับ different computer may have different values นะครับ may have different values but it's just like the decimal points unit. So that means if it's acceptable in this case นะครับ you can see that for Pumsit answer is $521.41, right? If I did it by myself, you can see that in here, hang on, Pumsit, can you tell me what is the advertising amount that you calculated? 521 point what?
0.41 ครับ
0.41. Okay. If you have a look on my screen นะครับ let me share your screen once again. On my screen, if I use 521.41, I get just 14.99%. So this one, make sure that if the decimal points in here นะครับ to precision of decimal point, if it's acceptable นะครับ that means it's okay. But if you said no, it's not precise enough, you may have to just like fine tune these numbers by yourself นะครับ in this case as well, because I mean like some of the computer when it calculate for the value นะครับ by using the GoSeek, it might have like different number, but it's just a little bit only นะครับ let me just like try to run the GoSeek by my computer and see what happened นะครับ so what Pumsit did was like absolutely correct นะครับ we would like to get 15% นะครับ so for the advertising amount นะครับ when we compare with the profit, so that means for the percentage here, it must be the formula. And in this one, you can see that, okay, we said it correctly already. We have advertising amount divided by profit. You must get 15% if you run GoSeek นะครับ now it's 0% because advertising amount is nothing in here. Then we go to data นะครับ what if analysis and then GoSeek. Then we set the sale นะครับ we set the sale percentage of the advertising amount นะครับ to be 15%. And you can change the sale of the advertising amount to be whatever number นะครับ depends on the GoSeek that it just like try and find the answer for you, and then you click OK. Okay, so you can see that in here นะครับ for my computer it has the same thing as Pumsit did นะครับ it attempts to reach 15% as much as it can, but anyway right now in this situation นะครับ it depends on just like the setting of your Excel นะครับ with this computer as well. My one Excel can just like try its best and reach 14.99% นะครับ. so in this one นะครับ you can see that on my screen it shows that target value is 15%, but right now the GoSeek can do it best at 14.99%, that is 521.41 นะครับ. if you say that okay 14.99% for you is okay, you may accept $521.41 นะครับ but if you can't นะครับ if you say that you cannot accept these values นะครับ if you cannot accept this value, if you cannot accept these values, you may have to fine tune by just like using the things like try on it manually. For example, in here you can see that if you double click, it just like try its best to get this one นะครับ. so if you say that okay, what about like 42 cents, is it better? No. 43 cents, is it better? No. 45 cents, no. 49 cents, not yet. 5 3 not yet 6 0 yeah. So if you say that okay, you can try like this okay นะครับ so that means at this moment of time my computer and my Excel can do my best at 14.99% นะครับ so I may have to just like manually fine tune this data นะครับ okay but anyway this feature is the help of Microsoft Excel นะครับ to let you have the value like this นะครับ to let you have the value as much as Excel can help you นะครับ but anyway as I told you on Monday when you use Go Seek feature here it doesn't leave any trace of using Go Seek. What does it mean? You can see that when I just like see 521.60 here later, I don't know whether I use Go Seek to do it or I manually type it in or how did I get this number นะครับ so this is Go Seek นะครับ it just like try to find out the value for you if the goal is 15% something like this นะครับ so in this case you can see that in here when we use Go Seek นะครับ it doesn't I mean like it doesn't leave any trace. You don't see a function นะครับ in your cell that is called Go Seek at all นะครับ okay I'll do Go Seek once again slowly นะครับ so firstly I have to set the formula first นะครับ okay and I know that I expect the percentage here that is a proportion between advertising amount and profit to be 15% นะครับ to reach 15%. While the advertising amount here can be changed to be any values. The things I have to do that is that I go to data tab, what if analysis, and then Go Seek. I set the percentage to be 15%. นะครับ and I allow the cell of advertising amount to change to be any value นะครับ and I let Excel to run and find out the most suitable or the nearest value for the advertising amount for me. In this case you can see that my computer tried its best to reach 14.99%. It's not 15% anyway นะครับ for this case. Okay, so this is the way that you let Excel to think to think for you instead of letting you just like manually guessing the value of the Go Seek like this นะครับ okay but the most important thing for Go Seek is that when you use Go Seek นะครับ the cell that you have to use นะครับ for this one okay I go to Go Seek once again the cell that I have to use นะครับ the set cell here to value นะครับ in here this cell must be the formula because if you remember some of you when you did on last class in here you said that okay the originally I had 2 and 4 right you had 8 I had like B3 times C3 but somebody enter 8 directly it's not the formula. So what happened was when you run the Go Seek นะครับ you say that okay you would like to set cell D3 นะครับ to value 103.75 like this and by changing cell operand 1 in here นะครับ that is B3 you can see that it shows the error it cannot calculate the value for you. The reason is because in here it said cell must contain a formula and you can see that because we enter 8 นะครับ it is not 2 times 4 นะครับ it is not B3 times C3 นะครับ so that's why it caused the error นะครับ so this one is the calculation for Go Seek. So the correct one must be equals B3 times C3 and after that you run Go Seek once again we go to data what if analysis and then Go Seek and then we set cell this one cell D3 นะครับ to value 103.75, and we allow operand number 1 to be changed to any values นะครับ but we fix operand 2 in here, then we get the answer already นะครับ in this case นะครับ you can see that the target value and current value are the same. That means Excel can just like find out the operand 1 for you นะครับ exactly the same as you want นะครับ different from example number 2 นะครับ when we find the advertising cost here, my computer can do its best to reach 14.99% but not 15%. So you have to make your decision if you would like to use the Go Seek feature or not. If it cannot reach what you want นะครับ when you use it already, you have to fine tune as I told you earlier, like this one. When we get just 14.99%, you have to just like have a further guess to reach 15% instead. This is Go Seek. So up to this point, do you have any questions about this Go Seek feature? Okay, so if you don't have any questions นะครับ that's all for the Go Seek. Now let's talk about the next topic that we have to know นะครับ the next topic that we have to know is what we call lookup references นะครับ lookup references. So everyone, would you please insert a new worksheet ครับ name this worksheet as lookup references นะครับ lookup references. So let me just like explain to you what does it mean by lookup reference นะครับ for the lookup references, these are group of functions นะครับ I call it as function once again because you have to type the function in นะครับ into your what to say into your cells in Microsoft Excel นะครับ just one below. Okay, just have a look on this one นะครับ okay. For the way in order to have or to understand more about lookup references นะครับ you have to know that, okay, suppose you have the data like this นะครับ somewhere นะครับ it might be in the same worksheet or different worksheet นะครับ both of them are okay. And then suppose you have the place here, you say that, okay, you have the value this นะครับ you want to know that, okay, in this original data, are there any value นะครับ that is like related to our what to say data that we would like to find or not นะครับ so in this one นะครับ we just like we call it as lookup นะครับ for the referencing that we have นะครับ we have to look up for the referencing that we have. Okay, so for hang on this one, we have a couple of features to find. Okay, let me just like talk about like in what situation that we use this kind of lookup references function first. For example, suppose I say that this one consists of the ID of the students นะครับ okay, and then for the ID here นะครับ I have name of the student. Okay, suppose in this worksheet นะครับ in this worksheet I want to know that for this student ID, what is his or her name นะครับ this worksheet may not have his or her name, then I just like have to look up from the original sheet of, for example, if I say that this is class list, I just want to know that this person name is ABC, let's say. Instead of like going to see the class list and see one row at a time to see that, okay, a person ID X, the name is ABC, and then I switch back to this sheet, and type or copy and paste ABC, something like that. It wastes a time. Or I may say that, okay, on okay, let me just like tell you what is the way that I do it normally. I say that, okay, let's see, I will say that, okay, normally I have different worksheet, One worksheet is midterm score. Another one is final exam score. Another one is like presentation score. So in every sheet, I have ID, and I have score. The same. Then when I would like to just like grade for you, when I would like to do the grading for you, okay, I have to just like, let's say, suppose I have ID 1, midterm is 35, final is 32, present is 15, let's say. So when I just like want to find out the total grade, I will have ID 1, 2, 3, 4 until the last one. The things I have to do is that I have to find that, okay, what is his or her midterm score, final score, and then presentation score. So I have to look up that, okay, for student ID number 1, midterm score is 35, and then I let Excel to fill up this one for me. Okay, and also Excel will just like do the same thing with final, and we do the same thing is with the presentation. Okay, instead of just like letting me to just like doing manually one by one from different worksheets, something like that. This is the way that we do, and normally people usually use like lookup reference all the time, when we have to just like use Excel. If we have like many sources of data in different worksheets, or yeah, normally it might be in different worksheets in the same workbook. But if you ask me that, what if midterm, final, and presentation are located or are saved in different files? Are they okay to use the lookup reference? Yes. Lookup reference can look up the data in the same sheet, in different worksheet in the same workbook, or in different workbook or different file. Lookup reference work properly. But you have to use the referencing correctly to do that. I'll teach you how to do so. When we would like to use lookup reference, what kind of functions in lookup references do we have? We have 3 different kind of function for the lookup reference that you have to know in this class. The first one, we call it as lookup function. 2, VLOOKUP function. 3, its index function. Okay, so what are difference among these 3 different lookup reference function? The first one, the first group is HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. These 2 functions are functions that we use to search for the data, and look up the value from the source of data, But the difference between HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP is the orientation of the data. HLOOKUP is the function that is what we call it as horizontal lookup. The data that you have to search for, we call it as a key that we would like to search for, must be in the same row of data. For example, if I say that this is the ID of the student, this is ID of the student, it will be row ID 1, ID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They must be in the same row like this. They must be in the same row like this. While the VLOOKUP VLOOKUP function stands for vertical lookup. The data that we have must be organized. The key must be organized in the same column like this. This is the example of VLOOKUP. For me myself I use the VLOOKUP more than HLOOKUP because the data like the class list is organized in this manner in the vertical way. So what does it mean by vertical way? Student ID number 1 score 35, ID number 2 score 36, number 3 score 20, something like that. You can see that when I search for the data, the key is located in the same column like this, same as final and presentation score. If you would like to search, you search by using the same column all the time like this. That's why we call it as VLOOKUP. Okay, so I'll talk about in details next on when we reach the example of each function. Lastly, index. Index function is the function that is different from HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP. What's the difference? Let's see. For the index function, if we say that, okay, we have tables that consist of the values like this. Index function is a function that we get the data from the position that we want. For example, we want the data that is located in row number 3, column number 2 of this table. That means you have to go to row 1, 2, 3, column 2, that is here. Then it just like pick this data for you. In this one, it's different from HLOOKUP and VLOOKUP because you are almost like manually pick the data from the specific position that you want. You don't have the key to search for, but you have to know the location where your data is located. What is this kind of function used for? Normally in Excel, sometimes we just like put data in some form. For example, we said that, okay, we have form of data that we always store 9 values of data. They store in different location like this, but we would like to know this one. Suppose we say that, okay, row 3, column 2 is the place that we store the income of that person. Suppose we would like to analyze the income of everybody in our set of data. We always go to row 3, column 2 of everyone so that we get the income. So in this one, we have to use lookup reference in terms of index function instead of using HLOOKUP or VLOOKUP because the data is not sorted in the same worksheet like this as a rows, different rows like this, or store span in different column but it's just like store in the table like this then we have to use index function instead. Now let's see each function how do we gonna use each function in which situation so whenever you would like to use lookup reference what function that match with our need, the things that you have to consider first is that how does the data organize? How does the data organize? In horizontal way or vertical ways or in a specific table Okay, let me start with the HLOOKUP function first, and then I'll explain to you how HLOOKUP function use or run HLOOKUP or horizontal lookup the things that you have to know. Okay, let's talk about the syntax of this function first Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so for HLOOKUP function นะครับ we just like go to the function building button นะครับ and we will just type HLOOKUP นะครับ HLOOK and then UP นะครับ okay now you see HLOOKUP already. For HLOOKUP, let's see the description of the function first. HLOOKUP will look for a value in the top row of a table นะครับ a top row of a table or array of values นะครับ and returns the value in the same column from a row you specify นะครับ so what does it mean in here HLOOKUP needs the data to be organized in this way ครับ okay the first row must be what we call the key that we search for the data. For example, ID of a person, ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have different pieces of data. The things that HLOOKUP will do is that it look up value นะครับ in the top row, that is a key value, must be in the top row นะครับ and then return value in the same column นะครับ same column นะครับ from a row you specify นะครับ so in here you can see that okay if I said that okay the key that I want to search is key from key that is number 4 and then I want a value นะครับ that is located in row 5 นะครับ so the things that I do is that HLOOKUP will do is that it just like go to search first from the first one นะครับ is it number 4 or not? If no, it just go to the next one. 2 is not 4, then it just go to the next one. 3 is not 4, and then it just go to 4. Yeah, 4 is 4. Row 5, it goes to 1. It calls this one is the first row. First, second, third, fourth, and fifth. This is the data that it will show you as a result of this function นะครับ but if the key นะครับ that we would like to search, let's say we search for the value 9 row 5 as well, you can see that the things that HLOOKUP will do is that it will search นะครับ the first row นะครับ for number 9. 1 is not 9, then it just like jump to the next cell, the next column. 2 is not 9, jump to the next one. 3 is not 9, and so on. You can see that it doesn't it just like go to each column and it doesn't find number 9 นะครับ when it doesn't find number 9 it will return the error for us that okay from the searching by using HLOOKUP it doesn't find the values นะครับ okay this is the concept that HLOOKUP will do. HLOOKUP นะครับ when you would like to search for some value นะครับ the key that you use to search for can be numbers, can be text นะครับ for example you may use the name to search นะครับ so the key can be name นะครับ of a person, the name of whatever thing, for example product name, something like that is possible as well. But if you use the text นะครับ as the key to search for, you have to be careful between for the space นะครับ for example suppose you have a person named Tom, somebody just have Tom like this, while somebody has Tom and then with a space and then press enter. Tom and then enter and Tom space enter, they mean differently นะครับ they are different, so you have to be careful if they are the text. Now let's see นะครับ I'll just like show you for the argument first and then we just like go to the example together นะครับ for the HLOOKUP นะครับ it needs like quite many of the arguments นะครับ so in this one HLOOKUP นะครับ needs the argument that are lookup value นะครับ table array row index num, and then range lookup. Okay, then let me explain each argument to you first นะครับ what are they นะครับ and where can we find it นะครับ okay, if you remember the picture that I showed you นะครับ when we have the data like this นะครับ okay, suppose you have the data like this. Okay, when we use HLOOKUP นะครับ this is what we call table array นะครับ table array. Table array is a place where we keep all the data in, including the key row นะครับ The key row must be located on the first row, as I told you earlier that it will search for the data นะครับ from a top row of the table. So lookup value here means that, okay, which value that you would like to search for นะครับ which value that you would like to search for. Normally lookup value can be like another cell that you refer to. For example, if you say that, okay, lookup value is here, it's located in the cell, let's say B20 นะครับ inside it consists of value 3 นะครับ. So this is the lookup value. The things that we do is that we enter the lookup value like a reference like B20 like this. Table array, you have to specify this table. Suppose we say that it's from A50 นะครับ It's from A50 to F54 นะครับ store the data like this นะครับ then you specify the table array where your data is located. After that, row index num. Row index num means that when you get the data or when you have the matching key with the value in the key table like this already, which row would you like the data? For example, in here, you want to have the value from the fourth row. So this one, the fourth row here means that it's relative number of the row นะครับ because the row start from row row 50 นะครับ so if we say that, okay, row index num is row number 4 นะครับ here 1 2 3 4. Actually we don't say that, okay, row index num is row 55 นะครับ. We don't do like that. We specify row index num from the relative number of the row that we have in this table. So that means if you would like to have the data from the fourth row of this table, from the fourth row of this table, you just specify that, okay, it's fourth row. You don't need to specify the real row number in this worksheet. And then the last one, range lookup. Range lookup is the value that is important นะครับ It just tells us that, okay, if you would like to search for the data by using HLOOKUP นะครับ would you like to have exact match นะครับ or closest match? Okay, let me explain these two terms first. Exact match นะครับ The exact match means that it will return only when the key is absolutely the same as the value นะครับ in this table. For example, if we match 3 and 3, they are matched. So it just like return the value to you. But if you say that, okay, you search value 30 in this table, you search for value 30, and you can see that in here it doesn't have 30. So exact match will return error to you because it cannot find 30 in the first row. But the other mode is what we call closest match. Closest match is like when you would like to search for a nearby data นะครับ to the key. For example, in here, when 30 cannot be found, it returns the closest value to 30. In this case, it's 6. And then it just like get the data from the column that the key value is number 6 for you. You can see that in this case, sometimes it is dangerous because if you use closest match, it might just like pick the data from like the place where you really don't want. For example, if you would like to search a score from this table and you would like to got the data for Edward. Unfortunately, if we don't have Edward in this list, but we have a student named Ed. Ed is another person from Edward. If you use closest match, it will return the score of Ed instead of Edward. So in the case that you really want to have anything that is exactly the same as the key that you search, you have to always use exact match to find นะครับ In this one, for the range lookup, it is just like the logical value. You just use true or false that I'll explain to you in the example นะครับ Okay, now you just like know the basic idea for the edge lookup already. Let's talk about the example นะครับ Let's talk about the example. In this one, suppose we have the exam result table. Consists of the score นะครับ from different subjects of like different students. Assume that we have the score format: mathematics, French, physics, and biology นะครับ and we have students named Anne, Kara, Colin, Ed, and Frank นะครับ Okay, I'm going to fill up the score of the students นะครับ from now. Okay, you can see that in here นะครับ if you would like to use edge lookup, in which situation that we can use. So in this one, if you remember, we found that the edge lookup will search for the data in the top row นะครับ So that means in this case, if you have a name of student, you can search for his or her score นะครับ by just specify that, okay, what score that you would like to know. Okay, I'll just like show you when we just like put them up in the edge lookup function นะครับ Okay, now let's enter their score first. 58%, sorry, 61, 75, 39, Okay, this is the score, the examination result นะครับ for our student in 4 subjects นะครับ Okay, let me just copy this one for you. I'm not sure whether when it goes to chat box, it just like go to the suitable form or not. Okay, this is the score. So in this case, in this case, what are we going to do นะครับ